before I dive in? Who comes and stops us in our tracks? Bravely reproving our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Half the time I don't know if I share this crap to the right place, but we're doing it. My viewership was cut in half. It went from 2 to 1. I'm kidding. It's true though. All right. You got to share this to one more place. Page. Nope, wrong one. All right. Dion Miller mentioned you in a comment. Oh, I'm Dion Miller. Got my dishes done. Halfway through the laundry. Between being sick and stuff, I got behind on the housework. Yes, I do the housework. I do most of it. I'm sure Harrison Butker wouldn't mind. Everybody can get that joke. Welcome. Today we're talking about a couple of things. We're going to be in the big book on page 100 and 101. So, and I'm looking right now, I'm actually looking into places. I'm just going out and looking for places that have been for rent for a while or that are pieces of shit nobody wants to rent, so we can get this thing going. There's a lot of people that don't want to be a part of it because it's not making money. They're not going to make money off of it and stuff, and that's okay. You don't need to be. If it's money you're for, I'd rather that you weren't a part of it. So stop giving your money to these places. Give your time. I don't have time. Bullshit. Then you make time. Stop throwing money at things. It doesn't fix anything. Throwing money at things is not an amends. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. This is a scam likely, so we'll just go ahead and let them do what they're going to do. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. Good stuff. So what we're talking about today is, they didn't like just listening to me. Oh, weird. It's Google. It's Google Ads, and they won't leave me alone. So I get for getting an EIN, right? When working with a man, actually, let's start at the top of page 100. We're going to start there. So, both you and the new man must walk day to day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. 12-step promises. There's a bunch of 12-step promises. Anytime it says remarkable things will happen or something like that, there's usually promises after. When we look back, we realize that things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. It's a promise. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you'll presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter your present circumstances. It's true. You work on that spiritual malady, and things will change for you. It's true. It's so true. I didn't tell one person. Give me a second. All right. Oops. Gosh darn it. Okay. That's easy. That's an easy fix. Excuse me. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Now I'm gonna mute you for a second. All right. I didn't think you'd want me to. I didn't think you'd want to hear my goose calling. When working with a man and his family, should take care not to participate in their quarrels. Don't get in the middle of other people's arguments, especially when it comes to a partner. Because I can tell you now, anybody that would ever approach me or my wife and say that we needed to split up will be removed immediately. We won't tolerate it. I have seen people do this, and you best stay out of it. All right. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. You're not. It's not a may. You will. Okay. And who are we to think that we can jump in other people's relationships? Okay. I have a very good relationship with my wife, but that doesn't mean I go around bragging about it much. Okay. But I will bring it up if I need to. My wife and I are a great example to how other people should be in relationships. I remember once we were at my therapy, and Shannon had asked the therapist, "Do you think we need couples counseling?" And he kind of chuckled, not like laughing at her or anything. He just kind of chuckled and said, "No, no, you don't." That felt nice. So be an example. We don't tell people what to do. We're good examples. That's as far as we can go. You should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. You should point out that his defects or characters are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember, when they are patient, the blessed fact of his sobriety. We can go one step further and maybe suggest Al-Anon. Hey, there's a way for you too. We don't just help out the alcoholic, we help out the whole family, because we understand that it's a family disease. And therefore, even a lot of Al-Anons start out at AA. A lot of AAers start out in Al-Anon. We support each other in that, but we're two separate programs. Al-Anon is a lot tougher. ACA, tougher. Alcoholics Anonymous we beat around the bush a little bit, but it's needed. It's needed. If you have been successful in solving your own domestic problems, tell the newcomer's family how that was accomplished. It's the only way you can do it. If they ask. Okay. Now, this doesn't mean that you're going to sit down and run meetings with the family. I'm not a counselor, but I can share my experience. In this case, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reach out. In this case, I'm going to reach out to my wife or my sister or my brother-in-law or one of the many people I know in Al-Anon. I'm going to say, hey, do you have time to talk to this person? And that's what I'm going to do in that case, right? And this way you can set them on the right track without becoming critical of them. The story of how you and your wife settled your difficulties is worth any amount of criticism. And this is the part I kind of wanted to get to. Assuming we are spiritually fit, we can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to do. I was just in a meeting, and this was the topic. And when I make decisions about doing things, alcohol is not the deciding factor for me. I don't even really think about alcohol. The question is, am I going to be able to add? No, am I going to cause confusion or harmony? That's the real question for me. But I'm a recovered alcoholic. I am neutral to alcohol. Recovered means I can use my brain again. That's all it means. Does not mean I'm cured. Otherwise, I would say I'm not an alcoholic. All right. People have said we must not go where liquor is served. We must not have it in our home. We must shun friends who drink. We must avoid moving pictures which show drinking scenes. We must not go into. You'd never leave the house. You wouldn't be able to watch TV. You would not be able to get on any kind of social media, nothing. How are you going to live now? Hold up and bubble wrap in a basement corner? No, the time of isolation is over with. We're not supposed to be isolating anymore. We must not go into bars. Our friends must hide their bottles if we go into their houses. We mustn't be reminded of alcohol at all. Our experience shows that this is not necessarily so. Every TV show I have has drinking in it. Every video game I play has drinking in it. Now, if I have a choice as my character on whether I can take the drink or not, I don't. I like The Witcher. The Witcher, right? You can use alcohol as a way to heal and things like that, but I won't ever use it. I'm like, I'll have a peach. I always sell all my alcohol in my characters. Right? Just kind of confirms I don't drink. I don't have any lurking notion. I'm not going to get my thrills by having a character that gets drunk. Right? And here it is. We meet these conditions every day. And these are conditions. What are they? Triggers. They're triggers. Lots of things can be triggers for alcoholics. That's why we cannot avoid them, because we alcoholics must be responsible for our triggers. If we're not, I have found I will emotionally relapse. I'll just turn into an asshole. And not to brag, but I don't need alcohol to be a jerk. Certainly easier. Right? An alcoholic who cannot meet them still has an alcoholic mind. There is something the matter with his spiritual status. See, I like this because it's just plain. Okay, then there's something wrong with, if I cannot meet that condition, then I still have a spiritual malady. Okay. Now, the first couple times you go and do it, it might be kind of tough. Take somebody with you, have an escape plan. No is a complete sentence. You can say no. You have that option. I said no quite often. I still say no sometimes. And it isn't because of the alcohol. It is because there's sometimes I just don't belong there. I know I will cause more confusion if I go. So I stay away. It is not for me to do that. Okay? Because I'm solution oriented and I want to heal and I want to do this. Well, it's already tough enough because when I walk into a room, I can feel it. The whole mood will change when I walk into a room sometimes. The other day I was sitting in a room Somebody came walking into the AA room, looked right at me, and left. Don't give people that much power. And I know what it is. I know what it is. I'm a very spiritual person. I always have been. I believe in the right thing, and I will say or do what needs to be done. I've just always been like that. That's why I'm a horrible employee. You're doing anything wrong, and I'm going to say something. Wasn't very good at minding my own fucking business. Even when I went to work at Detox. Like, where's the AA literature? I try to get AA literature, and they're like, here's 5,000 you can spend. I'm like, okay, let's spend it. Where's my check? Oh, and then they just put me off, and they never did it. All right. So his only chance for sobriety would be someplace like the Greenland ice cap, and even there, an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch and ruin everything. Ask any woman who has sent her husband to a distant place on the theory you would escape the alcohol problem. There's no escape because I'm the problem. I'll repeat it. You can't escape. You're the problem. The only escape is suicide. And even then, I don't even know if that is an escape. I don't know. I'm not willing to find out anymore. I'm not willing to find that out. In our belief, any scheme, and that's what it is, a scheme. Okay? It's like, I'm tired of hearing people say, well, I'm a recovery coach. It's my side hustle. It makes my eye twitch. It makes my... Don't be friends with me, please. It's okay. I'm glad you're doing that. That's great. Yeah. See, I can fake being nice too. I could do it too. They know it's not true. Right? In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to failure. And this is included with any addiction. Yeah. I remember one time somebody put a picture of a crack pipe in my group. Number one, we're alcoholics, so wrong thing. But I got I'm so triggered. I'm triggered. I'm like, why the fuck are you in this group then? Okay. I took it down because it was inappropriate and there were people being triggered. But I'm not a drug page. I'm sorry if the thought of a needle makes you want to do heroin. I'm sorry. But I can't protect you from that. See, lack of power. That was my dilemma. Not willpower, not the power to do other things, but the power to be able to follow fucking through. Couldn't do it. Not when it came to alcohol, man. Sure, I had willpower with other things, but I thought, why even fuck with it? Why even bother to, well, I can handle this and not that, and then this and that. God, that gets confusing. Why not just give it all to God, let him decide, him or her, they, them, whatever you want, and let them decide what's going to be best, and then follow that. Follow that. Be honest about it. Your whole fucking life will change in months, and that's pretty quick. Months is pretty quick in the grand scheme of things, right? Just last year, they wanted to pass, there were a bunch of recovering alcoholics that wanted to pass a bill where Mile High Stadium and these stadiums would have to put aside a certain amount of seats for people who were sober. No. The answer is no. In our belief, any scheme of combating alcoholism which proposes to shield the sick man from temptation is doomed to failure. No, we are not to be treated differently because we are alcoholics. We do not get anything special. You already got something special. You already got it. You can save other people's lives. It's the biggest fucking gift in the world. We want more? There is no more. There's no more. It's been taken. Put up with the fact that the person next to you is drunk. Period. Go buy bulk seats like normal people do and invite all your sober friends. Do that then. Everybody gets that offer. Okay? But to mandate a safe space is against recovery. Okay? Now, I do everything I can here to make it safe, but anybody could come along and hop in. That's why a lot of people don't chat here, because they don't want other people knowing and stuff. They feel safe with me, but maybe not, okay? And that's perfectly fine. You get to recover out loud as much as you want or don't want to. If you want to keep your recovery a little bit more private, fucking do it. I'm okay with that. But you still best be sponsoring and doing things, okay? You may not come on here, tell your story, things like that, but okay. If an alcoholic tries to shield himself, he may succeed for a time. No, they're being nice again. What are you going to do? Sorry, I've been watching this show called Them. It's on Netflix. Awesome, great show. It deals with racism pretty heavily. But there's this one guy in there, he's so creepy. He's like, what you gonna do? Like, oh, makes it, I don't know what it is, but I love watching him. What you gonna do? He's just so freaky. Okay. He may succeed, but usually winds up with a bigger explosion than ever. We have tried these methods. These attempts to do the impossible have always failed. Why? Because it's selfish. Here again, we're back to emotional sobriety. No, you got to do this so I feel safe and protected. You've got to call me by proper things. These are demands. And there's a big difference between a demand and a request. Hey, you didn't call me by my pronouns. Okay? I know you had some. Or, if you can remember, I would appreciate that I have these pronouns. You know what? I'm probably going to call you by your pronouns now because you weren't a dick. See, when you show somebody else a little bit of respect, they kind of got to give it back to you, especially when other people are around. Hi, Amber. You said hi at 23:23. We have tried these methods, yeah, and they don't work because it's selfish. If I'm asking the world to protect me from alcohol, that is selfish. Remember what we talked about earlier? Everyone's going through something. So if you want a safe space, be a safe person. I found that was the key. Yep. Yeah. So our rule is not to avoid a place where there's drinking if we have a legitimate reason for being there. That's the only reason. You just need a legitimate reason. What's a legitimate? Yeah, so does the refrigerator. Exactly. And if you're a little bit nicer about it, then somebody will show you how to use the ice maker the right way. Exactly. It's about how we go about it. You'll find a lot of people will actually bend a little bit, especially if they feel included. Yeah, you bet. Yep. I had a sponsee, when I have sponsees and they don't use God as their higher power, when I'm reading with them, I change it. Yeah. It was love. So I just replaced the word God with love. Then after a while, he started saying, God, so did I. That was just me meeting them where they were at and showing a little bit of respect. Yeah. But we can't expect other people to conform, right? Can't do that. We can't do that. So we got to have a legitimate reason. What are good, legitimate reasons? You want to go eat? Good enough reason. As long as you're not going to make it worse, you're probably good. Okay. Now, time may have a little bit to do with this. Okay. If you're in your first 30 days, you know, you might want to be a little bit more careful. But then again, I don't determine when the obsession for alcohol is left. So I can't tell you, there's no point in here. It says, well, once you reach this amount of time. But what it does say is if we are spiritually fit and we happen to be in working with others, you know, in step 12, and I have a legitimate reason. So I have two things I need to ask myself. Am I spiritually fit? Yes. Do I have a legitimate reason? Yeah. We're going to have fun. There we go. My friends want to go play pool. I'm the designated driver. You can go. I used to do that all the time. I kick their asses. How come you always beat us? Because you think you're better at pool when you're drunk. I figured out you're not. You'll see the world for what it is, and it can be, you can still go have fun. There's a lot of people that don't drink like me. Okay. It's always good to have a designated driver. Be one. I used to work at Lookup Mountain School for Boys. I was called Youth Track, right? I just saw somebody do a thing on Casa Bonita that gave it the worst reviews. And they don't blame them. They're like, we came from out of town. This is next to a Dollar Tree and an orthodontist. It was kind of funny. You go, yeah, you got your golden tickets, didn't you? I thought you did. That includes nightclubs, dances, receptions, weddings, even plain ordinary whoopee parties. To a person who has had experience with an alcoholic, this may seem like tempting providence, but it isn't. You've been to DD before. I don't remember what part that talked about. Just so you know, whoopee party is just people getting together and having a party. Just so you know, that's what a whoopee party is. Oh, designated driver before, but I hated it. But when, yes, yeah, and well, you know, when you're from Denver, it's like a right. So yes, so yeah, that's right. Fuck out of towners. Go back to Texas. Go back to Cali. We're fine here. Thanks. Yeah, designated driver. I finally figured it out. You will note that we made an important qualification there. Oh, they asked, how do you like the new food? And the guy said, this is the new food? What was the old food like? I'm like, oh, you don't want to know. Have you ever heard of El Chorito? Sorry. The food was horrible, but I guess it's better now. But it's the experience. You know, you got to be a Toys R Us kid to enjoy it. So let your inner child out and go to Casa Bonita for God's sakes. How much was that, by the way? All right. You'll note that we made an important qualification. Therefore, ask yourself on each occasion, have I good any social, business, or personal reason for going to this place? Or, here we go. All right, Daryl, I'll designate drive them back out of Colorado. Or am I expecting to steal a little vicarious pleasure from the atmosphere of such places. If you answer these questions satisfactorily, you need to have no apprehension. Go or stay away, whichever seems best. But be sure you are on solid spiritual ground before you start, and that your motive in going is thoroughly good. I need to bring something up here. Listen to this. Go or stay, but be sure you are on solid spiritual ground. What does that mean? It means if you're in your pink cloud, it's probably not a good idea. That's what that means. When our head is in the clouds, if our feet are not firmly placed on the ground, okay? Oh, but I bought these tickets to Mexico 6 months ago. Yeah, but you were still drinking then. And we know what Mexico means. It means relapse in the beginning, right? Yeah. Thank God they cleaned it up, though. I heard it's a lot better. So, do not think of what you will get out of the occasion. Think of what you can bring. But if you are shaky, you had better work with another alcoholic instead. Or you might even find an alcoholic there. Just make it better. Amber talks about this a lot in meetings. That when she goes to places, her point is to make it better. And that's what I did on Sunday. I wasn't looking forward to it. Well, who looks forward to, there were just going to be some people there that have been causing stuff, and I don't like it when people mess with. So I decided I'm going to go and I'll do what I can to make it better. And it turns out I just cleaned up trash. I did exactly what I would do in AA. Yeah. I haven't been to Casa Bonita since my late 20s. So it's been 20-something years. That, and it reminds me of something. So I'm from fifth grade. So why sit with a long place where there is drinking, sighing about the good old days? If it is a happy occasion, try to increase the pleasure of those there. If it is a business occasion, go and attend to your business enthusiastically. If you are with a person who wants to eat in a bar, by all means go along. Let your friends know they do not need to change their habits on your account. At a proper time and place, explain to all your friends why alcohol disagrees with you. I'm going to tell you this right now. When your friends find out that are non-alcoholic, I'm going to get to this. So, like I said, I worked at Lookout Mountain School for Boys, and I was a counselor there. Okay, I used to be a counselor, and this was for teenagers who were pretty much in for pretty rough shit. Okay, but one day, I kind of got to know the people and stuff, and they asked me if I wanted to go dancing. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll go dancing with you guys. I would dance with them like 3 times a week for months. They never even knew I didn't drink. None of them knew I didn't drink. But I was always a designated driver. I thought they would have figured it out. I went because it was fun, and I finally had friends. I never drank in a bar. I didn't, so it didn't bother me. And one day, my friend, he goes to get drinks. He's like, hey, you want a drink? I'm like, yeah. Comes back, and I take my drink, and it's Jack and Coke. Right? And I told him, I'm like, dude, I don't drink. And once he found out I don't drink, our relationship changed a little bit, but they never bothered me about it. No. They didn't want to deal with the consequences of me getting drunk. If you do this thoroughly, few people will ask you to drink. While you were there drinking, you were withdrawing from life little by little. Now you're getting back into social life of this world. Don't start withdraw again just because your friends drink liquor. Your job now, and here it is, because I was gonna, I'm gonna, not yet, but that's making it better. God, we Virgos like our semantics. We really do. Right. Just like people drive me crazy with the sober recovery thing. So I get it. Went 6 years ago, like 6 years reminds me of belated GMA. Grandma, yeah. I was there just before they closed. Okay, right before the stuff. Your job now is to be at the place where you may be a maximum helpfulness to others and make others happy. See, it's in here. I'm kidding, I made it up. Daryl and Amber know I made it up, but some people don't know the book. So I was just trying to make myself right because I'm a Virgo. All right. So never hesitate to go anywhere. If you could be helpful, it is there. You should not hesitate, but it's the same thing, right? You should not hesitate to visit the most sordid place on earth on such an errand. Keep on the firing lines of life with these motives, and God will keep you unharmed. It's true. Oh my gosh. The only harm that really comes to me are the consequences for the stupid shit that I do when I react. Okay? But God didn't do that. And he does. He keeps me unharmed. It's the coolest thing in the world. You know what? Every time I go through it, and because I stay on the firing lines, that's what it says. It says to do that. What does that mean? It means I go to newcomer meeting. I talk to a lot of newcomers. I make sure that I hear alcoholics each day, things like that, right? Yeah. And because of it, my life has become very peaceful. And when I have peace, then I have serenity. And when I have serenity, I'm balanced. And when I'm balanced, oh man, I can help people like a motherfucker. Right? Yeah. That's when the work happens. It when I'm too excited or too down, it's a little bit tougher for me. But when I'm in that balance, then I can see things for what they are. Okay? When I'm in balance, my feelings are not fact. Okay. Many of us keep liquor in our homes. I don't. We often need it to carry green recruits through severe hangovers, detox. Some of us still serve it to our friends, provided they are not alcoholic. There's not alcohol allowed in the house, and it's not my rule. But some of us would not. But some of us think we should not serve liquor to anyone. We never argue this question. We feel that each family, in the light of their own circumstances, ought to decide for themselves. When my niece turned 21, she asked if she could drink over here. I was, yeah, I have a problem because I don't. No. The alcohol really has to do with more of the fact that we don't want bullshit. I already did enough. Okay. And I don't care if there's alcohol in the house. I don't think about it. But, we just like to keep it that way. And it's not, my kids don't drink. And my grandkids better not be drinking because they ain't old enough. We are careful never to show intolerance or hatred of drinking as an institution. So when they say, don't be mad at the alcoholic, be mad at the disease. Or don't hate the alcoholic, don't hate the addict, hate the disease, hate the drug. We can't. We can't. I can't have hate. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to resentment. Resentment leads to the dark side. Are we not listening to Yoda? Experience shows that such an attitude is not helpful to anyone. Every new alcoholic looks for the spirit among us as an immensely relieved when he finds out we are not witch burners. Okay, I was also in this noon meeting, and what happened was we were talking about alcohol, right? And that it doesn't really bother us anymore. And then somebody brought up smoking. And there's nothing worse than an ex fucking smoker. And then they started putting down smokers. And I'm sitting there going, and then the amends came up, right? Well, I just can't stand when people, I'm a smoker, okay? But if I'm somewhere like a restaurant or so, I will go stand on the fucking corner. I'll go stand in the middle of the damn field, okay? Because it is not for me to have my smoke going in other people's fucking faces. I am very conscious about that. They don't want to smell my shit, okay? So I don't want to hear you bitching. You know, the spirit of intolerance. See what it did? It repelled me when they became intolerant. And then at the end, they were like, I didn't mean to. I didn't take it personally. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah. It's probably gone bad. No, it's just better. That's how it does it. I didn't know Ash could drink. Yeah. I don't know why I assumed she was in the program. Bad Dion. Bad Dion. It's what you get for assuming. Makes an ass out of me. See, assuming doesn't make an ass out of you and me if I didn't assume. Whose lives would have been saved had it not been for such stupidity. And we don't use that word lightly here, because that is stupidity. Being angry at alcohol. Being angry at anything is just very, very bad for us. Me. We would not even do the cause of temperate drinking any good, for not one drinker in 1,000 likes to be told anything about alcohol by one who hates it. Ah, okay. Got it. Someday, we hope that Alcoholics Anonymous will help the public to a better realization of the gravity of the alcoholic problem, but we shall be of little use if our attitude is one of bitterness or hostility. Drinkers will not stand for it. All right? And I think that's what my mom was trying to get through to me on Sunday. It's like, you seem like you're a little bit angrier lately. I'm like, I've been sick and people pissed me off. And I told her the truth. She's my mom. She watches these too. So it's not like my mom's one of us. I can't bullshit her anyway. And it's these things that we do need to watch out for. Because she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. I was angry. I did a little bit better with it this time than I did last time. Progress. Right? Because this time I have a sponsor. After all, our problems were of our own making. Bottles were only a symbol. It could have been anything. It could have been Kool-Aid. Right? It could have been anything. Besides, we have stopped fighting anybody or anything. We have to. And that's all italicized and exclamation points. We have to. Right? Yeah. This is such a beautiful road. For the most part, I know we go through things, and sometimes a little, but for the most part, man, it's a pretty beautiful world. Everywhere I go, people seem to be fairly kind to me. Of course, I'm pretty kind to other people too. But people will let you through if you have patience and you're not pushing your luck. I find that people are willing to hold space for you. Somebody let me turn And, thank you, even though they were inconveniencing other people. And, yeah, well, and I don't know how it goes for women. And it may be a little different, probably not. I don't know. But sometimes as a man, I feel like I have to fight. Sometimes my brain, and even now, my brain will think that violence is the answer. Even now, it does it. It's fighting me. I don't know. Okay. I, I, I'm not, I don't like violence. I don't like it when it goes through my head. I don't like the thought of it. I've been in three, I tell people I'm not a doctor. I don't need patients. Get it? Get it? We got some good jokes going on here today. What I'm really liking about this is, there's like 4 or 5 of it. We got a lot of running jokes, okay? But there's 2 or 3 people that usually watch me, and I miss them, man. I miss them. This is where I had my contact with them, and, all right. So we're going to be able to meet these conditions every day, and we can do this. And I know that you can do it too, because I did it, and I was pretty messed up. There's a part in the big book that said we try and save people from the last 10, 15 years of literal hell. And when I relapsed, I took that as a challenge. So I'm asking you, don't do that. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I thought it was going to give me more experience. No. Okay. Trust me. You do not need to go all the way down to help people like you do. You don't. In fact, I really tout on the younger people coming in. When I got here the first time, I was 18. It was still 3 years before I was legal age to drink, but I was living on Skid Row, man. I've been homeless twice. I've been on Skid Row once. Second time I don't really care. After you live on Skid Row, your idea of homeless becomes different, and couch surfing is not homeless to me. If you have a vehicle, you ain't homeless to me. Oh, because you got an area, it's weird when you go through things and you just have a different perspective, right? But let's take that back and remember that being a good example is the number one thing that we do, being of maximum service to God and the world around us, not of maximum service to my pocketbook, not maximum service of everything to AA. God and the world around us, right? If I did that, my wife's not in AA, then I wouldn't be taking care of her. I tell you lately, it's been my job. And I'm proud of myself. I did a really good job of it. I didn't know I was capable of that. Thank you, God. I didn't know. Don't determine your worth. You'll be wrong. All right. That's going to be it. Yeah. Agitated can mean excitement too. Agitated is not necessarily a bad thing. I never thought of it that way. Thank you, Daryl. That's what's cool about this program. Right? Just learned something new. Yeah, agitate, like consequences. Consequences isn't necessarily bad. There's good consequences. But I'm an alcoholic, and all I've ever had was bad consequences. So that's why I thought of it, right? So when agitated can mean I'm not balanced, is what it means. And any emotion overdone for this alcoholic is just bad. All right. I'm going to go wind down today. I'm going to go rest for the rest of the day. There will not be a 6 o'clock meeting. I'll put a post out about it. In fact, I think I'm going to be closing that one down because I'm keeping Thursdays. And yeah, Thursday just seems to be more. Yeah. Yeah. God, Daryl, you're on a roll. Maybe this was the one I should have asked you to join me on. Next time I'll give you more of a heads up. And I'd be willing to do this if, we could always schedule something that's like once a week or something where a few of us come on here and pick a topic and we cover it, and we, it could be a meeting for people that, can't get to other meetings and stuff. Yeah, I'm always open to this stuff. So I really need to do a podcast. So, but I can't do it when I'm sick. So, all right. Thank you for being here. I love you. Peace out and have a day. Bye-bye.